I've recently read Brian Dean's B2B Content Marketing Report on Backlinko and found it super informative and useful for any B2B marketers out there. And this video is going to be my takeaways from that report, and in sharing my takeaways, my aim is to raise some questions about your content marketing approach and what to do more of and less of in 2021. And I know that I'll be putting my learnings into practice no later than today. First, I want to share a bit more information about the report itself in case you haven't already read it before watching this video. And that said, I will link the report in the description box below so that if you're interested, you can have a thorough read later on. So essentially, Brian Dean and his team looked at 502 B2B companies to understand their content marketing approach, and with the goal to identify content marketing approaches that work best in the B2B space. Specifically, they looked at these 4 things: how many B2B companies have a blog, what types of content they are publishing, number 3, how much organic traffic B2B blogs receive each month, and number 4, the characteristics of top performing B2B content. So if you're ready to learn about how the B2B content marketing space looks like today and how you can take lessons to make content work more and better for you, then keep watching this video. But hey, if we're just meeting, my name is Elif and I'm a marketing strategist and educator, and I create weekly videos on digital marketing and marketing career related topics on this channel. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, if you're new to the channel, then you might consider subscribing for more videos like this one. Now let's start with the findings. So what I'll be doing is to share the finding and the note from the report itself, and then share my own takeaway and my comment and ask a couple of questions to hopefully get you thinking about your content marketing strategy. The first thing to share is, according to Focus Vision, B2B decision makers typically consume 13 pieces of content during the buying cycle, and interestingly, the majority of that content is read directly on the vendor's website. And good thing is, 72% of B2B companies already have a blog. When I read this, my reaction was a big wow, because I did not think that the prospects would be reading on average 13 pieces of content, because that's a lot of content, and this really puts a pressure on how good your content should be in terms of providing the right information, providing the education that your prospect is looking for when they arrive on your website. So clearly, majority has a blog, but how good is it? That's the main question. Do you just have the blog for the sake of having a blog, and is it kind of just sitting there? Maybe you're just outsourcing your content to a writer somewhere around the world, and they keep writing something for you every single week, and you're just keeping up with the frequency. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, how good is the content that you're putting out on your blog, and how good are your CTAs and your lead generation? How good does it fall into your overall strategy? Is it really working for you? I think this one's a wake-up call in the sense that it's time to sit down and do an honest reflection about the success and relevance of your content, of the content on your blog. So really take a look at how much effort and attention you're investing into your blog, and support your analysis and reflection by looking at the other findings and takeaways from the rest of this video, such as the length of your content, the frequency of publishing, the CTAs and lead generation, and so much more. The next one I want to share is that 61% of B2B companies use WordPress as their CMS. And this means that learning WordPress is a key skill for marketers who want to work in B2B. The second top one is HubSpot with 9.4%. So there is a huge gap between number 1 and number 2. This one's a great opportunity for any aspiring marketers who are looking for jobs in the B2B marketing space, because if you want your application to shine, how about learning to use WordPress before doing your applications? So you'll be bringing in a skill that they're looking for already. We know that from the stats, and the benefit for the company will be less training and faster onboarding if they hire you. So take note of this if you're looking for a job in the B2B marketing space. Wink, wink. Next finding I want to share is that educational blogs receive 52% more organic traffic than those which focus on company news and PR style content. You know, I think this should have been clear by this year, by 2021, but if you are still doing this, don't talk about your company and product all the time. No prospect wants to consistently hear about how good you are as a company and how good your product is. Truth is, people aren't searching for news about your company unless you're a big, giant brand like Tesla, and people want to stay updated with what the company is up to. Educational content ranks for more keywords, and also that's how people search when they're trying to find solutions to the problems they have. The next finding is that 65% 35% of B2B companies use stock images in their blog posts. And I know this may not seem like a big deal, but instantly when I read this question popped into my head. What if you don't use stock images? Can you stand out from the crowd if you don't use stock images and start using real images, maybe that include your team? And how about using unpolished, casual images taken by the team itself? I think this is a question worth asking and worth experimenting with. Next one, 23% of B2B blogs don't have a call to action. Why miss out on the opportunity to move your reader down the funnel? The takeaway is that you should make it a standard practice, a standard piece when you are creating your blog post. Just like you write a title, just like you write a meta description, just like you have an introduction, a conclusion, and all of that. And in fact, would be a better strategy is to identify the CTA first and identify the goal for that blog post first, then write the blog post to serve that CTA and serve that goal. I actually have a video where I talk about my strategic blog writing guide in the form of a tutorial. So if you're interested in writing better blog posts and leveling up your blog writing strategy, then I definitely recommend that you check out that video. I will link the video right here and I will also put it in the description box below. And I highly suggest that you check that out if you want to level up your blog writing. Next finding from the report is that 35% of companies used subscribe to our newsletter as a prominent call to action on their blogs. I mean, it makes sense. You want to capture the reader's information somewhere, somehow in that blog post, but I really wondered what the conversion rate for a sign up for the newsletter CTA is. So I think it's worth looking into this further and maybe do some A/B testing with your CTAs. Next finding from the report is that average B2B blog receives 282 visits from organic traffic each month. 32 of the sites Backlinko looked at didn't get any traffic from organic search, and 70 of them were getting less than 10 visitors from SEO per month. This data is for the blog as a whole and not necessarily for one blog post, but despite the huge variance between the top 10% and the bottom 10% of the companies analyzed, data suggests that there's room for improvement with regards to SEO efforts. So if you're in the bottom of the list, or let's put it this way, if your blog is receiving less than 282 visits from organic search per month, then SEO could be a tactic that you should look further into and invest more. And the next finding is something that I find very important, and that's long form B2B content generates more traffic, shares, and backlinks versus short form content. This is great information and basically also a suggestion to revisit your blog strategy, especially if your method is to create more frequent but shorter blog posts. I know the algorithms keep changing, and there was times when consistency with blog posts was really key, but now it's changing and the experts in SEO are doing this at different ways, so we can definitely take lessons from what they are doing. Perhaps it might be worth experimenting with half the number of posts you publish currently and twice the length of your average blog post. Going deeper into each topic and paying attention to SEO is my takeaway from this finding and the previous one. In fact, in a video where Brian Dean shares his content marketing strategy, he mentions that he doesn't publish content for the sake of frequency at all, and instead he publishes every 3 to 6 weeks, but long form content in the form of guides and lists and so on, and he only publishes content that he thinks is a winner type of content. Now it's your turn to look at your own content marketing strategy and identify the areas of improvement and your action items. Did any of the findings surprise you, and what is the number one thing that you are going to take action on after watching this video? Let me know in the comments. I'm really curious to know. My biggest action item is working on long form content for my own website, so let me know what's yours. And as I mentioned before, I will have the link to the report in the description box below, so if you're interested in reading in detail, it will be there. And as always, I appreciate you being here and watching this video till the very end. If you enjoyed this and found it helpful, please don't forget to let me know by hitting that like button for me and subscribing to the channel if you aren't already subscribed for more videos like this one. And I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye bye.